Welcome back to the welcome back to the Whiskey Gingers podcast. We've been off for a month and it shows. Chris was fighting the plague, but we got him back now.
The Black Death.
Yeah, the flu might have been. Well, it definitely wasn't COVID. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But we're back, and the cure is the most expensive whiskey to date.
It is indeed. I think that it'll definitely knock whatever remnants of sickness is right out of me.
Yes. You know a little more about this than I do. This is the Traeger brand, right? Or the Traeger edition?
Yeah, so this is the Whistlepig, and it's called their Smokestack whiskey. It's a limited edition one, Traeger wood-fired grills. This was gifted to me by my mother-in-law. I think it's going to be really good. They say it's aged in Traeger wood-fired barrels, so it should be pretty interesting to say the least. It's a 43%, so pretty standard for us, and I think it's going to have a lot of flavor. We've been trying to please everybody and do a little bit more bourbons because, we didn't for a while.
We leaned pretty far the other way, so you can't say we don't love our fans. We've been putting ourselves through a lot of bourbon.
I have to tell you, though, it's kind of been like I wouldn't say it's a completely welcome change, but it has been good in the sense that it's expanded our horizons a little bit. I think that some of the bourbons that we tried throughout this experience have made me a little bit more apt to maybe be at a bar and try another one. If I was, looking for something, maybe I wouldn't go for just an Irish whiskey or just a Scotch right off the bat.
Yeah, and maybe if we drink enough bourbons, some of you Americans will start to follow this podcast. Yeah. Not that we don't love our friends from across the pond, but y'all are asleep right now, and we're trying to get a podcast off.
Just an update for you guys. We did verify that our YouTube channel was linked for this. Most people probably don't know that we have a YouTube channel. It was kind of just set up as one of those things where our videos auto-post to there as lives after the fact. We're probably going to be going forward, putting up some more edited content on our YouTube channel, maybe like small reels and things like that of just typical things that we're talking about. So if you happen to be on a time crunch or you're looking for a quick little video, that might be the place to find it. I put on Twitter a link for our YouTube, and I'll make sure that that's live, and I'll make sure that I post a tweet about that as well to make sure that we're current.
Yep.
So for all of you guys, watching us here, just make sure that you follow us on those multiple platforms because there will be a little bit of difference in content as we go forward.
Yeah, and we're gonna start a TikTok, so we're gonna do some exclusive features on the YouTube, some exclusive stuff on TikTok that you don't see on the podcast. So there'll be some Jeff appearances.
Everybody loves Jeff.
There'll be some behind the scenes stuff. So keep an eye out for both of those.
I feel like when in doubt, we just bring Jeff to the party.
Well, we haven't had many guests. We've had Jeff and we've had Mike.
And your buddy, too.
Yeah, my buddy Ethan. He's a lot harder to get a hold of. So far, the fan favorite's been Jeff, so we'll try to get him back in. And we see him the most.
You know who I think we need to bring onto the podcast?
Mm-hmm. Who's that? Who do we need? This is our producer, Morgan, who's about 9 feet away from the mic. So
Co-producer.
Oh, and the producer.
So who do we need on?
I think we need to bring Joey onto the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Joey.
Markovich.
I would agree.
You can't say his full name.
Yeah. It's like the mafia.
For all of the people that are watching us, they're going to track him down now, the poor guy.
Joey the Wrench. Gumbo Joe.
Yeah, Gumbo Joe.
I think we need
his
to bring
alias.
Joe in.
Yeah, we'll work on it. From what I know about Joe, whose last name will not be mentioned on this podcast, he's more of a right down the middle light beer kind of man. Which I think would be even more fun because we'd have an even less educated opinion than Chris and I on here.
That's hard to find, but
yeah, it'd be a nice ego boost for us.
Definitely. Oh man, I'm sensing some notes in this whiskey, and he'll say, "Yeah, that tastes like straight fire."
Yeah, it's a lot stronger than Coors Light, guys.
That's the point.
Exactly.
Well,
I think also here, Joe.
I think also we'll definitely have to post just as an update for you guys to look forward to. We're probably going to go to Topgolf for
we'll do some content at Topgolf.
Yeah, we'll do some content at Topgolf for my birthday is coming up, and some of our other friends' birthdays are coming up. So we're thinking about doing a Topgolf experience, and if we do, we'll post some videos about it. It'll probably be a good TikTok or YouTube reel kind of moment for us. But with that all being said, getting you guys back up to date, it has been a while. We do apologize for that. We're going to go ahead and get this cracked open.
Let's get this moving.
Let's get this moving.
Stop burying the lead.
Have to. So we got a very easy bottle to open today. No complications, just a little bit of plastic and then a good
I like this little tag here. So Traeger is known for their smokers. This is born to be sipped low and slow, just like you smoke
Nice.
your meats.
Exactly. I'm going to give this a little pop open. That was weak.
Yeah, it was
I
kind
think
of weak.
it's too big of a cork.
I like
for
the
it to
flared
go.
tip, though. It looks regal.
What else do I have that's like this? I just did another one like this.
Wasn't Knob is almost the same bottle.
Yeah, knob is kind of like
Not
that.
that
Except I'm
anybody
not
can
sure
see
it's
above
flared
us.
as much as this one. So these are always kind of a pain in the neck, though, because pouring them isn't really as easy.
It's easy. Like with a wine bottle, you're supposed to do like a quarter turn so it like cuts off the flow. But this being
Yeah.
a rectangle, you can't really do that.
So we also have new glasses as well that were courtesy of my mother-in-law that also got the whiskey. And they're supposed to be better for tasting whiskey because, we're trying to up our game every day.
Yeah, we were told this is the correct way to drink it. So if you do happen to look and you know better than us, maybe we had it right the first time. Maybe this is the right way to do it. We appreciate the feedback. But
It may or may not have something to do with the fact that the website that I got these from were saying that this is the way that you're supposed to drink whiskey.
and everything
So it
on the
could
internet's
be-
true.
Could be a marketing ploy, but who knows? With that
All right.
being said, cheers to you. That's actually really good.
Yeah, it's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's really good.
Let me
And
see.
you know what? For it being like the smoke stock
It's
version of
really
it,
not that.
it tastes more like it almost has a jerky taste to it, doesn't it?
I guess
Like
that's a way to look.
it kind of does have almost like a jerky taste to it. It sounds weird, but when you're thinking about like the smoky taste, you're normally thinking of just like a char,
Yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily have like a super overpowering char taste. I think it has more of like a meat smoke taste.
Which, I mean, I guess you could. Traeger is known for smoking meats. It's aged in Traeger barrels. There could be some remnants of past brisket in there, possibly.
A little bit of the drippings are gone into the whiskey.
Could be. I do really like it, though.
It's not bad at all. It's really good.
I like how we're like surprised that we like it when, like I said before, this is by far the most expensive whiskey. I mean, most expensive whiskey that we know of. That limited run could have been up there.
Oh, I'm sure that was expensive.
Yeah.
But the thing of the fact of the matter here is that we pride ourselves on finding things that are good for the taste, but also not super overpriced.
Yeah.
So I think like finding
Middle
a happy
shelf.
median there, like middle shelf meat in there, and I think that some of the best whiskeys that you can find are on that middle shelf.
Yeah.
This being a more expensive whiskey, and most people are probably laughing at that to begin with.
Yeah, the
because,
fact that we're like, oh, it's $86. Oh my
it's
god.
like an $86, $90 bottle of whiskey or whatever. For the general public, I feel like that is a little bit pricey.
Yeah. But then
but
there's people out there like washing their countertops with it.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think that for the price point, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it not feeling like it's a waste for the price.
No.
I think that it's very appropriately priced for where it's at.
Plus, it looks cool in your collection.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you don't like it, it's just something that, I mean, I'm sure your buddies don't have the Traeger edition Whistlepig.
It's a novelty item. I mean, I've
something you can
had
flex
regular
on your friends.
Whistlepig. I've had Whistlepig before, but I have not had this specific Whistlepig.
I haven't had either. I do kind of want to try the original now.
Yeah, we're doing it the opposite of Bushmills. We did Bushmills
Yeah.
original, and then we did the specialty Bushmills.
And if it's the
So-
same, I like the Prohibition Bushmills better than the original. So
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
assuming. Do you like this better than the original Whistlepig?
Well, I mean, we're looking at a completely different price point too. Then, so
Just
I think
taste for
that
taste. Let's say they both
Yeah.
cost $50.
I like this better.
Okay.
I like this better. I think it's smoother, and I think it's a little bit less sweet.
Yeah.
And I think that for the bourbon taste, it hits all the right notes for me.
Okay. I had nothing to compare it to, but as far as the other bourbons we've tried, it's one of my favorites so
You
far.
think
Of the other
main
bourbons.
question and the hot question is:
Mhm.
does it replace Wiggle? Does it dethrone Wiggle?
I think I like
Because Wiggle has been kept at our number 2 spot or something.
number
forever.
2 overall, definitely
And
the highest.
It's also
bourbon.
the highest bourbon by like a long shot. So
Oh, I wish we didn't kill that.
I know
Because,
we only had a small amount of that.
I remember
one, so
liking it a lot, but I would totally pour myself a glass and do like a quick side by side.
We'll have to get some more. We should
Just-
have it in the house anyway because it's that good that I would have it again.
It's
So,
really hard to find. You have to just
Yeah.
about go to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
I'm sure we can
we'll
get it
just
shipped
about have
in.
to go to Pittsburgh to do it then.
That would be a fun time. But I can't say it passes Wiggle because I don't have anything to compare it to. I remember liking Wiggle a lot, but it's like 1A, 1B
Yeah.
bourbon wise, in my opinion.
So just maybe like a hair down from Wiggle, or
right
possibly
now.
sharing the same level, but we just don't want to quite dethrone Wiggle.
Yeah, no, they didn't do anything to lose their spot yet, but this is really, really good.
I'm gonna go with probably one of my first disagreements with you. I think
Mhm.
this is better than Wiggle.
Okay, see, I don't
do.
remember it clearly enough to make that call.
I really think that it is. I think that it's smoother than Wiggle, and I think it's got a little bit more flavor too. Though.
You hear that, Wiggle? Remember who was there for you.
I think you guys do need to get more so you can try everything again in your glasses, your new glasses.
Yeah, that's
because this makes a big difference. I will say that it does actually
That-
have like
you actually do make a really good point. Hold on.
this is a good comparison.
Yeah, that's actually a really solid point.
Are you going with the side by side? I'll do a side by side.
That
Yeah.
it says it lets out the ethanol, but allows you to still get the proper amount without just smelling ethanol.
I mean, the opening on the glasses is definitely much different. I would say you're looking at like, I don't know, a
It's like
30-40% difference in the amount of like opening on this.
Yeah, it's like you and then the guy she tells you not to worry about.
That's exactly what it's like. What do you think?
I'm gonna go. Which direction do you want to go?
Well, so I'm going. Let's do it on two bases. I think
Okay.
one is smell because
Okay.
there should be an aroma factor to it, and then I think the other thing should be the taste.
Okay.
So I'm going to go for smell first, which
Okay. So you go.
I think wide glass is harder without like physically putting your.
I
whole
get
face
almost
in
nothing
it.
on the wide.
I know.
glass.
Yeah, it's tough. And this one,
Yeah.
I don't even have that much left in here
This
because we've
one's-
been sipping it, and this clearly has more smell to it.
It's definitely stronger.
And then I guess I've been drinking out of this one, so I know the flavor out of that. Now I'm curious about this one. Flavor-wise, I'm not
I
going
don't
to say
notice
it's
a big
much
difference flavor-wise. The smell was noticeable. The
Yeah.
flavor is really about the same.
But they say that there's like a big thing that has to do with like the smell and the flavor combining.
That's
So
where
I-
a lot of your senses
Yeah,
taste come
so
from.
I
is your
could
nose.
see that this being the better smelling one, like the better for smelling. That
Yeah.
is the most ridiculous statement ever. But the better smelling version of this is probably what would give you a better tasting experience.
Yeah, I mean,
And I got to say, the glass looks really cool.
it does.
For those of you that can actually see it, it's like two glasses in one. There's like an outer layer and an inner layer.
Say what would be kind of cool if they found the technology is if you could freeze this outer layer.
Cool the outside. That would be cool.
Because like I don't like my whiskey watered down. The reason I like it on the rocks is I need everything cold. I can't
Yeah.
drink anything warm. That would
Mhm.
solve my problem of having a cold whiskey
Yeah.
that's not remotely like watered down.
Well, you know what? I've had one of these glasses too. So this is just another like wide mouth glass, and it comes with this little rubber sleeve. And what you can do is you can freeze two things of water in here or one thing of water in here. And when you put this in here, you put the water on the bottom, and then you freeze this in the freezer. And when you take it out, you have a sled of ice, and then you pour your whiskey over it.
That's kind of neat.
So that would probably be a good option for you too, because I know you like ice, but the whole premise is you want it to water it down like a little bit, but not too quickly.
You also just got a new one of those from your Christmas gift
I did.
from a certain somebody
Yeah.
whose name shall not be mentioned because we don't name names.
Yeah, we don't, especially last names. We don't like to
Yeah.
name last names
What
because,
about
you know.
those
the FBI's
rocks
watching.
that my mom got you that aren't
We-
ice?
So if you remember a couple weeks ago, we were testing this new stone technology to
It's-
replace
It's
ice.
really, 22nd century. It's
Yeah.
like way ahead of its time.
The tricky part with the like the cocktail stones is that they lose their chill just about instantly.
I think it's also we didn't give it enough time for it to cool.
Yeah,
They were in the freezer for a very small amount of time, and they were in your glass for about half a second before we
Yeah,
put the whiskey back.
but when I took the cubes out, I mean they definitely didn't. They weren't that cold.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna do a heinous crime of putting this in here because I like
Yeah.
this glass better.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, now that we spent an adequate amount of time reviewing this, which
I
honestly,
thought that was worthwhile for science.
I think we
I
could
will
actually,
apologize.
I think we could actually spend more time technically talking about this if we really wanted to, because there's a lot to talk about. This whiskey is really good. It's definitely a top contender. I'm not going to go through the whole like top 10, top 5 thing, but I would
That's because you don't
absolutely
remember,
put this
right?
in the top 5.
Because I don't remember.
I don't remember it at all.
Okay.
I-
Don't
I-
lie to the people, Chris.
I know that we had a bourbon in our top 5, which was Wiggle, and I think that this for me dethrones that. Even still, would you? I guess that's my point here is I would put this in the top 5 category.
Mhm.
Would this be good enough to make
Yeah,
it to your top
this
5?
is my top
even
5.
if it dethroned like an Irish whiskey
I'd be
or something.
Yeah, I'd be open to having 2 bourbons in the top 5. And
Wow.
this was one of them.
We're converting you.
To
Quickly.
what? You don't like bourbon either.
I don't. Well, that's not fair. I would say I don't like bourbon, but that's not true because we found a lot that I do like. I just don't like mainstream bourbon. I feel like is my problem.
Yeah, you're
Like
a
I'm not
hipster.
a big like Maker's Mark person or anything like that. It just doesn't do it for me. I know tons of people that drink Maker's Mark. I think it's probably one of the worst whiskeys that I've ever had.
Maker's isn't great. It's saved from being the worst like American bourbon whiskey because Jack Daniels does still exist.
I have the most giant bottle of Jack Daniels under
I
there.
gotta say, I didn't mind. We never did this on the podcast, but we did try this
That was
over
good.
New Year's. This is it's got to be from like the early '90s. Green label Jack Daniels still has the liquor control board seal on it. This was actually pretty solid as far as Jack Daniels
That
goes.
was good. And also we had another Scotch too that we had over New Year's that was good.
Both of those were pretty solid. I had friends of mine who their status is up in the air now.
Mm-hmm.
But they swore that I needed to try, dude, the Tennessee Honey from Jack Daniels, great whiskey. They're on the fence of remaining as part of my inner circle. I'm just saying.
Uncultured swine.
Yeah, I mean, friends don't let friends drink JD Tennessee Honey.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that you have a very important topic that you'd like to bring to the table today. So, if
Potentially life-saving, even.
potentially life-saving, okay, or
So-
potentially life-ending, depending on which way you look at it.
True. So it's just not an original idea. I'm an avid listener of the Are You Garbage podcast.
Okay.
And they were going through like realistically, everybody likes to talk about like, oh no, dude, if this hit, I would do like this, that, and the other thing. If an apocalypse hit, let's say today we're shooting this on Wednesday. Let's say on Friday apocalypse hits. You have a 1-day notice. Are you really that ready? Because I'm not.
No, and like you can sit there and joke about all the people that are ready for it because you have doomsday preppers. They exist. That's a real thing. And those people are going to be laughing so hard if something ever happens. Until that time, everybody's going to be laughing at them. So we'll see what happens.
Like,
And I don't even know if I might be even in the middle there because I think that they have a justifiable cause in what they're doing. I just don't have the money to be dumping tons of money into like, a giant doomsday bunker and thousands of dollars worth of canned food and stuff like that. Like if I had the money, maybe I would. I don't know. It'd be cool to have. You can go down there and have doomsday parties. Who knows? But I think that it would be a clever idea to make sure that you don't, end during the apocalypse. But my biggest plot hole with that whole problem is even those like biggest doomsday bunkers, how long could you really hold out?
So they had a listener write in, and the most impressive one I heard was they had 2 years worth of food and water.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, this guy probably doesn't have a day job.
Yeah.
I don't know where he gets the time, but he has like those like 500 gallons of water like circulating. He has diesel fuel. He has he got one of those like sea crates you see of like container ships, like put that in his yard. Like this guy's ready. So he's like the top, and that's 2 years. I would say the average person, you might be able to hold out
a couple months, maybe
2-3 months. I mean, I played The Last of Us. That's my professional training.
Here's the problem, though. Like, think about something like a nuclear reactor meltdown, Chernobyl.
Mm-hmm.
It's been way more than 2 years since that happened, and these people like still can't really go back. People are going back there now in hazmat suits and everything, but it's not sustainable to live there long term.
No.
And so, how are you going to make it on your 6 months to 2 years amount of food and water and safety devices? You're about to be hit with a doomsday situation right now in about 30 seconds.
There's a cat about to attack me.
We have a co-star dying to make an appearance right now.
Oh, she's staring
And
at
then
me so hard.
going even further down that rabbit hole without, giving out exactly where I live. I happen to live about 6 miles from a nuclear plant.
Would you like me to give them coordinates?
Yeah.
Just in case.
So to the point where my town has sirens that they test twice a year in case of a nuclear meltdown.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that if they were having an actual nuclear meltdown that they would pretend it was a test to not worry people?
They would absolutely not tell us because we do come to you live from Pennsylvania, which is famous for 3 Mile Island when it was actively melting down and they told no one. So I wouldn't know until I was vaporized.
Mm-hmm.
This is more along the lines of natural disaster, zombie apocalypse, resource shortage of humanity turns on itself.
I have a gripe to pick with the zombie apocalypse. So we have to talk about what kind of zombies we're talking about here.
Have you played The Last of Us?
I briefly, yes.
So not sentient, former people who've been
Yeah.
overtaken by a zombie entity. Not
Yeah.
sentient.
Okay.
Just her. Like you could easily fool them if you chose.
Because if we're talking about, so like, here's how I base it. Like, you have like I Am Legend zombies are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying. I wouldn't want.
They're
to
way
be
more
like,
capable.
I wouldn't want to be against like I Am Legend zombies. Those people.
Call of Duty zombies.
Those
They
things
just
could, yeah. Call of Duty zombies, we could last for years with that. Just make a crawler, walk around. hang
Yeah.
out, it'll all be
okay.
fine.
Well, there's not rounds.
Yeah.
Chris. Like they're all coming at
It
once.
is rounds. It's per day that you survive is another round, and I think that that's fair.
It's a lot of rounds.
But I don't know. I think like, you know, even if you look at Zombieland, was like a great movie to depict like slow zombies not
Yeah.
really being that intimidating. I guess the question is, are you one of those people that kind of looks forward to a zombie apocalypse? Because you know there's people out there like live for this shit. They're like, all I'm thinking about in my lifetime is government collapse and zombie apocalypse, and when that happens, I'm going to be the happiest person in the world.
Yeah, so not that. However, I do like my plan. I've thought
Okay.
about this over the last week, and I think I have a pretty solid plan.
Let's hear it. I'm curious now.
The first thing I'm doing is I'm going right to the coastline. I'm
Okay.
going straight for the Delaware beaches.
Because everybody knows zombies can't swim.
Zombies can't swim. I am finding, because look, here's the thing. Society's breaking down. I'm going to a marina. I'm getting the biggest boat I can get my hands on.
Okay.
And I'm going about 500 yards offshore and just watching it unfold. I run out of food. We zip back in the marina. We reload. We zip back out. I'm spending the apocalypse on the water. I'm not shooting a single zombie. I'm going to hang out there, eat some grapes, catch a tan, and just watch it go down.
It's as easy as that. Zip, zip.
That's what I think. Or just keep it cooking. Go right across. Bermuda's not that far. It's in the
Okay.
middle of absolute nowhere. And then at that point, all you'd have to do is eliminate whatever zombies are there. No more are coming. You're surrounded by water.
I think Bermuda
And
might
just
be a little bit too
recolonize.
big. You
I
need
think
to
you
like.
might have just given everybody your master plan.
Yeah, that's not a good
And now
idea.
it's not a master plan anymore.
So what they're going to do is they're going to beat you to the marina. They're going to take the boat. They're
What
gonna
I
go
meant to
colonize-
say.
They're going to go colonize Bermuda before you, and then by the time you get there, it's going to be too late.
So you're going to go to the Poconos.
Yeah.
Get
Go
as
to the-
landlocked as possible.
Go to the Poconos and make sure that you have no supplies.
See, here's the thing. Like, as long as they made it out to me, let's say I'm in Bermuda, if they made it out to me and they still have their wits about them, they're now an asset to me. Now we can work together. We can farm. We can fish.
Would it be a democracy, or would you be a monarch? Would you be like king of Bermuda at this point?
It would start off a democracy. We'll see how it goes. I give them a chance.
I think we're leaning towards an authoritarian government if we're seeing how it goes. It's less a monarch at that point and more I'm telling you this is exactly how it is, and if you don't like it, there's the ocean.
It's like a cool mom authoritarian.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to give you a shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you cross me,
Yep.
then get off my
Can I
island.
go have this? Go ask your dad.
go
That's what it is. Go ask dad.
Yeah, but I think that's a solid plan. I think that is where you survive the longest. What's your go-to?
I don't know. I think that the Caribbean's not a bad idea. You know, the commandeering the boat's pretty good. But I think that I would
You know
still.
where Bermuda is? It's not in the Caribbean.
I would. Is it not?
No.
Where is it actually?
It is directly off the East Coast, Chris.
Oh, I don't know. That's
You've
Caribbean.
Been to Bermuda,
I have been to Bermuda.
Yeah, it's halfway between us and England. That's why,
Okay.
quick history lesson.
That's Caribbean enough. for
England
me.
colonized Bermuda to keep an eye on us. We were getting kind of shifty over here.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
we're
absolutely not in the Caribbean.
we're a very shifty group.
Yeah.
We're a very shifty group. I
We
don't know.
are.
People, I think it's warm and tropical. That's Caribbean enough for me.
Okay, fair.
What else? What else describes the Caribbean? Warm and tropical.
The region, the Caribbean.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm just spitballing
to,
here.
to the Pirates of the Caribbean hang out there.
I think they're more southern. Dude,
don't
Jack
know.
Sparrow would be a huge asset. Is all
I
I'm
would
saying.
I would totally
That
agree.
dude can get out of a jam.
He already beat zombies like in 3 of the movies, so I think we're okay.
Dude, I want Jack Sparrow. I need Vin Diesel.
You
We're
wanna know
good.
why? Because as long as he considers you family,
Oh,
you
we're
will
set.
never die. Because
I have a
family
Terminator
is
on
the
my
most
side,
important
basically.
thing. That's hysterical. I think that going, out that way is pretty good. I also wouldn't technically be opposed to like the Alaska kind of, going into the snow option. Because
Yeah.
you're going to have less people contesting you in general. Because I think what
Yeah, but
people
then
don't
polar
really
bears.
like, well, I guess. But
What do you mean? I guess.
people live in Alaska now without a zombie apocalypse. So what difference does that make?
Yeah, but they're like giant fluffy killing machines, dude.
They certainly are. They'll kill a lot of zombies.
And you, they can't tell the difference.
I think that like a big thing that people overlook in like zombie apocalypse scenarios is that I don't think it's the zombies necessarily that you have to worry about.
It's other people. Yeah.
So I think you're more likely to encounter people in your plan than if you're in Alaska or like Antarctica or something ridiculous. There's
I guess
nobody out there.
That's a
So
solid
like,
point.
yes, you may have to deal with some zombies and wildlife, but you're not going to have to deal with other people shooting you.
Yeah, that I could see that if you wanted to just become like one with the Eskimo. Although I hear that's a tough ask.
It probably is.
I mean, it's like a biker gang. It's not easy to get in with them. You're gonna have to do a couple of things and a couple favors. Another one that we haven't talked about that I think is worth noting is the South in general. I mean, if you want to talk about a part of the country that is equipped to handle anything, it's Georgia, Alabama, and Florida.
Yeah, that's fair.
As long as you show up there with like a Trump flag and a red hat, they will protect you like one of their own.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. And you know what? I think that like if you're looking for people that are going to have all the firearms, then you're in good shape. I mean, that'll work out pretty well.
I mean, because you look.
What is your firearm plan? I mean, like, are you going to be able to make it to the South if you run into some people that aren't going to be happy about you traveling in your nice car and they're walking on the side of the street?
Okay, I mean that's a solid point. Because the only thing I could realistically get a hold of a hunting rifle. That's not going to help me out too much unless I find the high ground.
I think I think that you should become like Legolas and start doing like bow training, so that way, no matter what, you could always make more arrows.
That'd be kind of sick. I actually do. Archery's pretty. I would fuck with archery.
I think what we need to do now is practice archery for the next couple of years, so that way we're ready.
There's nothing better than mixing whiskey and archery together. But
definitely, we just shoot one up in the air and see where it lands afterwards.
I think I can make it down there. Like, because here's the thing: I'm not. You watch all the zombie movies, and they wait till it goes absolutely sideways to move.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I hear somebody groan, I am gone.
You see all these zombie movies, and they'll sit there and like the first person turns to a zombie in front of somebody, and like to your point, they start groaning and making all these weird noises and like start acting crazy, and people are like, "Oh, sir, are you okay?" And then they start getting their face eaten. If somebody started acting like that in front of me, I'd either A, like a normal person, walk away from the situation, or B, if they're like coming at me, end them. That's it. That's like
I am
all humanity's gone. All humanity is gone. I think people would last a lot longer in movies if they just took, the exit strategy rather than the I have no idea what I'm doing here strategy.
Yeah, like I think that's where people get into a jam. Like I'm not saying like I said, we record this in PA. There's something to be said. I mean, Philly might not be a bad place to bunker down because you already have the street people who can survive a nuclear blast. My issue is they're quicker to turn on you. The South, once you're one of them, I think you're safe.
People in the city don't like you on a normal day, let alone when resources
they
are
turn on you
and everything else. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough sell. And then what if we're looking at non-zombie apocalypse situations? Like if we get hit by like a tsunami, I just feel like that's it. Like, give me this bottle of whiskey here and let's hang out, because I think if a natural disaster happens like that, that's game over.
See, I don't look forward to a zombie apocalypse. Natural disaster, low key, sounds kind of sick.
Sick?
A little bit. Like we got a pretty solid mini hurricane last August, and I was out cruising around just seeing what's going on. Like, wow, that water's high, or holy shit, there was a house there earlier.
Oh my gosh!
We don't share your empathy on that one.
What if it was like a 2012 movie situation where like entire continents were getting like wiped out from a tsunami?
Well, I have nothing to say in the matter at that point. Then
that's what I'm saying. Like if it's a natural disaster, we'll end on this.
Give me a big bottle of Jameson.
We'll end on this. I think we should end on this. What would you do if you knew one of these things was coming towards you, like a doomsday apocalypse situation where there was no hope? Like there's no bunker.
Not making it.
There's no bunker to hang out in. There's no place that you could run to. No place that you could hide. What are going to be your last things you would do for your last 24 hours?
Okay, so I have a full 24 hours, and I'm stuck in the state that I'm currently in.
You can go anywhere you want within 24 hours. The sky's the limit, but in 24 hours, the world is gone. That's it.
All right.
A big-ass comet from, like, wherever is going to come, and it's going to wipe us all out like the dinosaurs. What are you doing at your 24 hours? Because there's nothing that anybody can do.
I'm going to Vegas. I'm putting it all on black and then dealing with the consequences.
I just want you to know that by the time you make it to Vegas, you're probably only going to have, like, 16 hours left.
Okay. That's going to be the best damn 16 hours of my life, or I'll die poor like I lived.
All right, fair enough. I agree.
I've made it this far.
He's made it this far. And what happens if you win the money?
Then it's going to be the best 15 hours humanity's ever seen.
I think we also have to live in the world that, like, all of a sudden everybody agrees that it's the end, so things just go on like they normally would. So money still works, and casinos
survive?
still work. No, I'm saying like you go to this casino because it's the end of the world.
You're telling me casinos are going to close the end of the world?
Maybe you're the
it's
only
going to be
one,
their best day in
maybe
history,
you're
dude.
the only one that knows. I don't think I would spend my money if like I knew it was the last day. I think I'd just do other reckless shit.
There's going to be a Scrooge McDuck pile of money around every casino and strip club in Las Vegas. Because who cares?
Fair. That's probably fair. I don't know what I would do. I really don't. I'd probably steal some cars, go on some joyrides.
You're giving me a moral lesson? You're going to go out and commit Grand Theft Auto?
Go steal some cars, steal a helicopter. I don't know how to fly it, but what better time to learn it than the present? And when you only have 24 hours to live, I would fly my own helicopter, right, with no other co-pilots, because
right into the eye of the storm.
Go all the way up there, put a skydiving, like a parachute on my back, because I've never been skydiving. I want to do that too. So I'll fly it all the way up there. I'll jump out, let that thing crash, skydive down, hope it goes. Normally you need 200, 300 hours of skydiving before you can do it by yourself.
If you're a
we
real
only
man,
have 24 hours, so we're just going to go for it.
You get one of those squirrel suits.
Yeah, squirrel suits. That's it.
All right, we've divulged far enough into craziness.
Clearly, our plans are
pick up these
a little bit
conversations at your own local dive bar over your own glass of whiskey.
It's going downhill fast.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining in. We apologize for our hiatus that we had for a little while. We're
back now.
We're back. We're going to be bringing this back, bi-weekly as we were before. And again, keep an eye out for different platforms, because we are going to be starting up TikTok,
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Keep an eye out. We'll put it all on our Twitter. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys. That fucking Jeff.